Swipe up.
Swipe up.
We got to cover Madden. Madden's been
dude. Madden has been just electric.
Popping.
Just electric. Everything that I could have asked for and more. I mean, just every game. Either someone's getting blown out by 70 or it's a tight one.
Have you been watching all the games?
Most of them, yeah. Most of them.
Hold on.
I watched a little bit of your game.
I'm not ignoring you.
I got to dive into your game. I got some questions for you.
Hold up.
You got your hands full for next week.
Next week? Wow, what's next week?
You play the Redskins, I think.
Why were they hot this week?
Oh, Bojangles can run the rock, amigo.
Kenny, I saw there's like 400 yards or something like that.
Bojangles can run the rock.
What's his approach though? Is it always like sweeps and?
No, I mean, he likes to hit the outside, no doubt, but it's going to be a battle of will at the line of scrimmage between you two.
Yeah,
Coach Dirt.
I don't know about the whole drafting offensive line. I don't know if that was a good idea because there's certain plays that just do not work. But
I drafted O-line.
You did. I should have just gone straight defense. I forgot who the guy was who just went all defense. How did he fare this week?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know who. That out. I mean, it was a electric first week. Do we want to talk Pat's schedule or Madden first?
Let's talk some Patriots schedule first.
Okay,
this is the most important thing. We'll get some Madden going after this, but I really wanted to dive into this schedule here.
Salvatierre, Titans have no mercy. Titans put up a casual 70.
Yeah, I saw that. Just absolutely, just not taking it off the gas pedal.
Salvatierre, you were in that game too. Like you had a couple of plays where I was like, "Oh, that was a good ball," and then we just kind of lost it. I think. You turn this. I'm in my old I'm in my old room right now with the parents. Are you frozen? This wasn't supposed to happen. There you go. You're back.
I didn't plug in. I should have plugged in.
Oh, you dog.
Should have plugged in.
Let's talk a little Pat's schedule.
Yep.
Let's break this down in quarters. We'll go first four, second four, third four, fourth four. Okay.
Yep. Then we got the extra 17th too that we got to worry about as well. Right?
Is that happening this year? I thought that was next year.
I thought there was 17. Did I screw something up when I made that graphic? Because I made 17 weeks. Yeah, there is 17 weeks.
Is there 17? Well, yeah, there's 17 weeks, but it's like.
Oh, you get the bye. Yep.
Yeah, you get the bye.
I'm stupid. Okay, that makes sense.
Okay.
All right. So the reason why we think that the first 5 games is so important, or the first 4 games we're going to do here, is because we got a young quarterback in Jarrett Stidham, who is going to, this whole season is going to be dependent on the first half and how well they get off to a good start. Are they going to take advantage of having a good defense, or is Stidham just going to be in growing pains this year for a little bit too long? So that's really important. So what do you think about the first 4 games here?
So it's not going to be easy. I mean, you look at the Miami game at home, thank God.
Yep.
And that's going to be huge, but they're going to be bringing heat. Like Flores' whole thing is I'm going to pressure and I'm going to be in your face. And so it's going to be, he's got to be dialed in. As far as like everybody has to be like OC wise, you got to make sure that he's ready to go. He knows his pressures. He knows what he's supposed to be looking for in terms of like where we can kind of see where things are coming from. And you got to be able to run the rock. This first 4 weeks for the Patriots is going to be wild. I mean, Seattle in Seattle and Arrowhead in Arrowhead. Like
before we get to those games, how about opening up the season with? It doesn't get any worse than the Dolphins from an emotional standpoint. We had our hearts ripped out by.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I never want
it's just healing. They just want to rip it right off in week 1.
I never want to lose another game to the Dolphins. Like I want the Patriots to beat the Dolphins by 1,000 next year. I want the kid at the local Foxborough High School. I want him to get reps next year when they play the Dolphins, that they run up the score so bad.
Dolphins are going to be pretty decent this year, but the one thing that we can look forward to is Tua is probably going to be under center, correct?
Exactly. That's the thing, is that like Belichick notoriously does well against rookie Qs from a defensive standpoint. And it's going to be really tough for him to go into Foxborough against that defense that is going to be good. That defense is going to be good next year. And there's a lot of rookies on both sides, but it's going to be it'll be an interesting game. I mean, it's going to be tough though, because there's Teddy K, our boy Teddy K is going to be out there. Wow. Kyle Van Noy, and then just that general Dolphins defense is good. Like, they have a solid defense, so they're going to have to be able to run the rock. You better hope David Andrews is ready to go, and Joe Thuney and Isaiah Wynn's back on his game. So that's going to be an interesting. I think the Pats will win that one though.
I do too. It's going to be interesting to see Kyle Van Noy in a Dolphins uniform in that game.
Break my heart.
It's going to be weird seeing Teddy K wearing a Dolphins uniform in that game. He's usually
better go tell him what's up pregame. Teddy K.
Usually quick and fast at answering my DMs, but I sent him one, like I said a couple weeks ago, congratulating him, and I think he's moved on from everything New England.
Yeah.
So it's a new era. It's a new era, Cam.
It's going to be. I know it's going to be wild.
Yeah,
it's going to be wild. But I mean, like, it's still. I think it's going to be really exciting. That not a lot from an offensive standpoint. And it's going to be a lot from an offensive standpoint. It's not going to be a lot different from an offensive standpoint, but defensively, a lot of rookies. Uche, Duggar, you have a lot of dudes who are going to be kind of plug and play, ideally, with that defensive system. So it'll be really interesting. And I think that within these first 4 weeks, the big game for me, if Stidham is the guy, is going to be in Seattle and in Arrowhead. Those are going to be the two, like, let me see what you got. Because if he can go
no harder than that,
dude. I mean, those are probably the two best stadiums in terms of home fan base, and obviously like Buffalo, in terms of like home fan base that they're going to see. And you get them kicked off in the first 4 weeks of the season, it's going to be wild. If he can put up and I'm not saying that he's got to go in there and win, but if Stidham can go into Seattle and Arrowhead and put up a good QBR, make the right decisions, do a good job under pressure, all that stuff, I'm going to feel way, way better about him. And that's kind of the one nice thing, is that by week 4, if this team's 0-4, off the bat, he's not our guy. And you can move on and kind of cut bait, You
would say that. I mean, these are not going to be easy games to play. I really don't think any of these games are going to be easy. But the defense is going to keep us in, and at least the Raiders and the Dolphins game. They're going to control that 100%. Game.
Yeah,
in my opinion. But at the same time, you also have some of these younger guys in the defensive side of the ball that are going to be asked to just jump in right away and make a difference.
Yeah.
On top of that, so I don't know. Anything could happen. What's funny is last year I was listening to the podcast when we did this last year. Yeah. We were going through every single game. We're like, yeah, well, they should probably handle that one. This one, definitely that's a game they should handle. And then we realized that we got to hand out a couple losses because they're not going 16-0. This is a completely different animal now. So what's the record going to be? Let's go through the first 4 games. What are you feeling?
I think that they beat Miami. I think that they beat Seattle. I think that they beat Oakland, and I think that they lose to Kansas City. I think they go 3-1 through the first 4 weeks. That's obviously very positive. I just think that Seattle is in the same team that they've been in the past. Obviously, there's still the Russell Wilson effect, but there are ways to contain Russell Wilson. You're not going to completely shut the guy down, but there definitely are ways to contain him. So I think that they will be that's going to be, I'm just telling everybody right now, that to me is going to be a massive, massive game for Stidham. If Stidham can go into Seattle and put together a solid game and everything looks good and he's in rhythm, he's going through all of his checks, all that stuff, that's going to be very, very telling for me, because that's a difficult place to play. And that's going to be telling for the offensive line as well. If they're able to block stuff up and they're able to, be able to open up lanes for Sony, and they're able to get things going running the football wise, and this team's going to be much more lethal than we would have expected.
Yeah. Yeah. Seattle is really, they competed well in a lot of games, and the ones that stick out to me the most are the 49ers. I think in that second game, Seattle is going to be a really tough game. I know they're not the same team as they were in the past. The defense is not what it used to be, but they were really impressive last year, and they're really good at maximizing their talent.
Yes, and Seattle's funny because Seattle's that team where New England will go up 21-7 or something like that in the third. And then it'll be the Russell Wilson show. And next thing you know, it's 21-14 and Russ has the ball on the Pats 20. And you're like, oh God, there's going to be a tie ball game here in a little bit. And it's going to be on Stidham to go and make some moves and drive that team down the field and be ready to go. But again, as much as I do put stuff on Stidham and put the offense on Stidham, a lot of this is on McDaniels and Belichick having that rookie Q, or that first-year quarterback, I should say, because he's not a rookie. And how easy do you make this offense for him? How much is he going to be ready to go in terms of like, hey, when they're in that patented Seattle cover 3, those corners are going to be off. Hit the curl, hit your number 1. Like that's going to be the thing for me. And I think that's why I have confidence in Stidham, is because I think that they're going to coach him up the right way. And it's going to be about him executing on the field.
I don't know if I'm getting attached to Stidham, but I'm definitely rooting for him. But
after your
do
video,
think
I'm attached to Stidham for sure.
Yeah.
I'm like, I didn't know that his background family wise.
Yeah, that was a crazy story. I mean, right when he turned 18, he moved out of that other house and in with that other family. But dude, his charisma, he seems like he's got a lot of charisma, and he's been through a lot. And I think we're going to see something out of him in the first 4 weeks. I'm pretty confident. I'm hoping for a 3-1 start.
Right. And the thing is, I don't think that 3-1 is too optimistic throughout that first 4 weeks. I really don't. Like, I think that that's pretty on par. And like, you look at Kansas City, and that Kansas City game could be I don't think that the Pats are going to get blown out by Kansas City. I think that that's going to be a tight game. I don't think that the New England offense has the legs to run with Kansas City, but if they can keep that game within a score and they can make that a defensive football game, that's a game that they can go in and win.
John G, you're my mortal enemy. You're a fedora wearing dude talking trash, and you're a Chiefs fan. You are just my mortal enemy.
John G is definitely a Chiefs fan.
But thanks for popping in.
Yeah, no, we appreciate you, John G. Don't listen to Eric. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you, but also, I mean, we're mortal enemies in a football sense, but I like you too.
Sure that he's a good guy.
Yeah, he's a good guy. All right, so next 4 games, this whole schedule sucks, dude.
Okay, so Biggie is the fact that like Denver in Denver is a completely different animal than Denver away. Yep. Like Denver in Denver is so tough because you go up in the elevation. That's a really tough place to play. But yeah, I think that 3-1 is completely doable for that. And again, it's that Seattle game is going to be really, really telling for how I think the rest of the season is going to go. If Stidham goes into Seattle and goes 15 for 32 with a touchdown and 2 picks, I'm going to be like, this is not looking good at all. We need to like do a little soul searching, figure out who we are. But if he can go into that game and be in rhythm and he's coached up, he's ready to go, then I'll feel positive. But moving on, sorry, I was just hitting up Mike's comment. The next 4, Jesus. I mean, like I said, Denver at home is great. San Francisco at home is great, but that San Francisco team, they don't really care where they play. They're gonna run the hell out of the rock. They're gonna play their game. Sorry about the helicopter going overhead. They're gonna pound the football, no doubt about it. And then you go to Buffalo and to New York.
Yep. I think New York is really the only break out of those 4, obviously. Buffalo, we've been talking about them being on the up for a long time. And it's going to be an extremely difficult game. Doesn't matter where you're going to play them. Historically, we play them a lot better at home. We play anybody better at home, but
right.
They're still a tough squad. The 49ers, I mean, what do you think? Talk specifically more about that one.
Just really quickly, make sure we pump up those likes in the chat right now. Only 2 likes on the video with like 11 people watching. So let's get those going. So the Niners game, like I said, I think what's going to be weird about the Niners game is it's going to be a case of ball control for both sides. The Niners loved it. Like, obviously, we saw Jimmy G throw the football like 14 times a game in San Francisco. So I think that it's going to be a matter of it's going to be a matter of who can control that rock, who can try and get that offense off rhythm. And that Niners defensive front basically got the same. They drafted Javon Kinlaw early after trading DeForest Buckner. So it's like they kind of equal out. They just don't have to pay Javon Kinlaw like they were going to have to pay DeForest Buckner. So that's going to be tough. That to me is like a loss. That's going to be a loss for the Pats for sure. Like how good they are, how much they run the football, how great that defense is. That's going to be a really, really tough one to go and win. The great thing about it is it's a 1:00 game on the East Coast. You got to count in that time difference. Yeah, these guys are pros, but at the same time, I still think that does have a little bit of a factor. Also, we don't know if San Francisco, like, if they're traveling the week before. If you know what I mean, like if this is game 2 of a 2-game road trip, then this is going to be tough for them. So that'll be interesting. But that Niners game, it's going to be tough. That Niners defense is legit as they come. We all saw that. I do think that their secondary isn't as good as advertised. As much as I like Richard Sherman, I do think that he is susceptible, especially to a New England type of receiver. We saw that in the Super Bowl against Seattle, where it was like, yeah, they run that 3, and Richard Sherman's great if you're trying to test him deep. But when you're trying to run things that are underneath, things that are really testing his lateral ability, that's where you can kind of find some holes in his game. And again, that's where New England's going to have to try and find holes to move the football, is testing these guys laterally. It's not going to be deep balls.
Because that defensive front is going to put a lot of pressure on.
That's the thing, is like, go ahead and try to throw the football 35 yards downfield. You're not going to have the time. That's why you got it. Right. Everything's got to be quick. Get that ball out of your hands.
And even the Broncos, dude, we've talked about this numerous times as well. They played a lot of really tight games. I think they're a better team than what their schedule really said about them. And now that their quarterback's going to have a full year under his belt. Well, did he play the full year last year? Or did he come in part? Who's quarterback in the Broncos?
Oh, Drew Lock. Yeah, he played the last 4.
Yeah, it is Drew Lock. Yeah.
Hang on, John G. Okay. Popping off, not taking comment, guys, from us of 11 watching. What are you trying to ask, man? All I see is you just making statements. There's no questions, really.
Yeah, ask a question.
Ask a question. We would be very happy to answer. Anyway, carry on, Eric.
Yeah, I just think the Broncos are a better team than what their schedule.
Dude, anytime you got Von Miller and Bradley Chubb, like there's going to be pass rush. You know what I mean? Like it's going to be tough to get the rock off. You gotta be smart about what you're doing.
Yep. So what do we got for a record through 8 weeks?
So my 3-1 through the first 4. And then let me see that schedule again. You just dropped it away. I'm gonna say they beat Denver, so that's 4-1. I'm gonna say they lose to San Francisco, that's 4-2. I'm gonna say they lose to Buffalo, 4-3. I'm gonna say 5-3 after the first 8.
Yeah, I was going to say, so what did I say? 3-1 through the first 3. Even that's pretty optimistic. I think if we get through the first 4, getting through those being 2-2 would be pretty good. Would be pretty solid. I think. I'm going to take a W against the Broncos. So 3-2, 3-3 against the 49ers. You know me and the Bills.
You're a big Bills guy. You're a Bills Mafia guy.
Big Bills guy. I'm going to go win there. So where does that leave me at?
So you're going to say they beat
5-3.
Okay, so we're both at 5-3 right now.
Yeah. I just think the defense is going to do enough against the Bills at home. They're going to put together a good scheme, and that defense of the Bills, of course, you got to play well, but the way Tom Brady played them last year, they were running the rock. I think in the first game, at least, I thought.
Yeah.
Or that was part of the game plan.
Yeah, definitely. There were some moments where Brady had to be Brady. There was that one wheel that he threw to James White that was just a cash classic Tom Brady throw. And that's not a throw that you can count on a guy like Stidham making. But again, it's like we've been saying all offseason, this team isn't going to be built around, can Jarrett Stidham throw the ball 45 times and win? This team's going to be built around running the football and opening up play action, opening up all of your quick game. That's what this entire team's going to be about, and being a great defensive football team, getting guys 3 and out, keeping that offense, their offense off the field and out of rhythm. That's going to be the whole thing with this football team. I don't see Belichick and McDaniels going into their game planning and being like, well, how can we open things up for Stidham? Or how much is Stidham going to be able to do for us? It's going to be, how can we open things up? How can we run this football? How can we open up our play action game? How can we create easy throws for Stidham? That's going to be the whole thing with it.
Yeah, that's why Isaiah Wynn, I think, is one of the biggest X factors. I think Isaiah Wynn and N'Keal Harry are 2 huge X factors for this season.
Completely
depending on how well they play this year is going to be, well, depending on how healthy they stay this year is probably the bigger question. I'm really excited to see N'Keal Harry play a healthy season. I'm also excited to see Sanu come back and see what he can contribute on a healthy leg. You got Jules, who's going to be 100% now. Well, now we'll see how healthy he is.
Right, especially week 8.
Yeah, his load is. How big do you think Jules' load is going to be this year?
I think it's going to be big, and he's going to be a focal point. But you're setting yourself up for failure if you're trying to run your offense through Julian Edelman. You know what I mean? And it's not necessarily because I don't think that he can handle that. It's just, and not skill wise, but like health wise, that's just not smart to do. They have Sony Michel, Rex Burkhead, James White, three excellent backs as far as catching the football out of the backfield. With Rex Burkhead, he's pretty good at it. James White's one of the best in the league at it, and Sony Michel can run the football very well. We've seen that in their postseason run when this offensive line's firing on all five cylinders. I should say they're a good football team when it comes to running the football. Right.
Yep.
And you talk about the fullback position, you have Vitale and Jacob Johnson. Which one of those guys is going to emerge as being the fullback for the Patriots? And they have a little bit of depth in case one of those guys does go down. And that was the whole thing. That's what greases the wheels for this football team, is being able to run the rock out of their 21 personnel with two backs and a tight end. That's going to be another big thing, is who's going to emerge as that tight end number one. Is it going to be a guy like Lacoste? Does he find his stride this year? Is it going to be Asiasi? Is it going to be Dalton Keene? There's a lot of question marks in terms of the Patriots offense and how they can help open things up for Stidham. You know what I mean? And I think that Patriots fans, when they look at this season and they look at the offense, for so many years, it's been about how do we work through 12 to win football games? And that's not what it's going to be this year. This year, it's going to be about pounding the rock.
I think the two new tight ends are going to be really interesting to see how they evolve and how quickly they're able to hop in there, because you were saying you thought Keene was going to be able to hop in there pretty quickly, I think, in the last one, unless I'm mixing things up.
No, I think that both of those guys can hop in and be pretty serviceable. And more so, I think they both can do it. Keene, I think, has a better chance because he can line up in the backfield. Not that Asiasi can't, but Keene lining up in the backfield, he showed a decent amount of that in college, and being, an H or a fullback, as some like to call it, in the backfield, and having him go out to the flat, catch a rock, and get upfield for. We're not going to be screwed if we just pound the rock, Mike. It's it's a kind of offense that you run. And it's not just like being a hardhead and trying to run the football. It's trying to open things up for everybody. I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. Dalton Keene. What?
I saw the comment and I knew you were going to want to respond, and then you just went right to it. I thought you were going to wait like a couple seconds.
No, definitely not. I had to pop off on that one.
You have to open things up for a young quarterback too. This is just a different era now. We're in a different world now.
Yeah, 100%. And it'll be. I'm excited to see what they can do. I'm very excited to see what they can do with this offense and how they're going to run it. I don't necessarily think that it's going to be. You're not going to be able to line up with five wide anymore and just have your Q pick things apart. You have to set things up for them. But anyway, so through the first 8, we're at 5-3 both. Baltimore, yep. Houston, Arizona, and the Chargers. What do you think for that next 4?
Obviously Baltimore is going to be really difficult. I mean, they were scoring at will in that second half of the game. Well, basically the whole game. We played them last. I don't know. I mean, you've been breaking down the film a little bit more than me. Well, a lot more than me. So, I mean, you have to put up points in that game.
Yeah. Yeah, the Baltimore game is going to be tough because it'll be interesting to see how defenses are responding to Baltimore's offense. And that'll be the thing. If you see if Baltimore plays, a couple of in-division games, if they play the Browns and they play the Steelers, and they've kind of found a way to slow that team down, that's what's going to be interesting to me. I think that that's going to be a loss for New England, just because it's going to be tough to go and scheme up Baltimore at that point. They do so much to open everything up and really attack the edges of a defense and really attack the rules of a defense more than anything, So I think that one's going to be that'll probably be a loss for the Pats for sure. You do have the advantage of being at home, and it's always different when teams come and play in Foxborough. But I don't see the Pats winning that one. In Houston's going to be a really interesting game. I don't know what Houston's going to look like. I don't think that they're going to be as lethal offensively. That's just going to be. Yeah, they got Cooks, but Cooks isn't DeAndre Hopkins. Like, DeAndre Hopkins does a lot. So I think that they lose to Baltimore. I think that they can beat Houston. Cardinals are another team that's just a toss-up. Who knows what the Cardinals added a ton of weapons offensively. So they could be lethal. NFC West is outstanding, by the way. Just sitting here thinking about it, that's a tough division.
Yeah, I do like Cooks. So yeah, I think definitely a loss to the Ravens. Houston, I don't know, because we didn't play them all that well last year, did we? Unless I'm confusing years.
No, not at all. Houston smoked the Pats last year.
Yeah, we didn't play them well last year. And it's going to be interesting to see how Arizona evolves because they're definitely on the up. But I don't know. These are all really difficult games, dude.
Yeah, it's a tough schedule.
And I think the Chargers, I think that's going to be a W. I'll go 2-2 with those 4 games.
Yeah, I think so too. I would go 2-2 with that.
I'm gonna go loss in the first
which moves us to which moves us to 7-5. Does that make sense? Yeah, 7-5.
7-5.
And then the last 4: Rams, Miami, Buffalo, and New York. At that point,
a couple back-to-back LA games.
I know,
right there.
Might as well just. I think they'll probably stay out in LA. They're 4 days apart. That means that one of them's a Thursday night game.
Are they both at LA?
Yeah.
How can you tell they're at LA in this?
Because the ones that are darker.
Got it. There you go, down
Eric.
Here.
There you go, Eric.
My brain is just not working tonight. Struggling.
You're just getting smoked right now. Yeah, so the game on the 10th is a Thursday night. So they play LA on Thursday night. I'm going to try to go to both of those games. That's going to be pretty cool.
Oh, dude, I'll buy my plane ticket tonight. Stay out there for a couple weeks.
Yeah, just stay out there. We'll get 2 tickets to the LA games.
$100 tickets to LA right now to Boston.
No way.
Yeah, $100.
Cammy might have to make a trip.
Let's do it. All right. So how would you? What's going down in the last 4 games here?
I think that they beat both LA teams. Boston continues to own LA. So which puts them at so that'd be 8-5, and then right.
Yep.
Yeah, 8-5, and then Miami, Buffalo, and New York. I think they beat I kind of do this in a weird way. I think they take both from the Dolphins just because they're going to have a rookie Q starting. I said that they would lose the early one to Buffalo. I think they beat Buffalo at home, and then I think they beat the Jets at home, which is a very positive. Like, what am I thinking here? I'm trying to do the math now in my head because I didn't tally these up.
We were 8-5, I think, after the Rams, right?
So if they're doing what I'm saying, which is if people are going to light me up right now, the Pats would be 11-5.
I'm there. I was going to say they were going to roll off 4 more wins at the end of the season.
It does get a little lighter on the back end, which is great. It does. Rolling into the
Jets
playoffs.
Last game of the season. Would have been nice to have the Jets at the early onset part of the season, but hey, whatever. That's but what I'm so
it's a meaty schedule.
11-5.
That NFC West is it's pretty damn good. Yeah, Kevin's Kevin is like 11-5. He thinks is their ceiling. And then what'd you say, Kevin? I think you said 8-8 is the is their floor.
Yeah, I think we are being optimistic for sure.
100%.
We're definitely being optimistic.
But we're going to learn a lot in the preseason. We're going to learn a lot in the preseason about where this team's at.
I'd be thrilled with 10-6. I would be thrilled with 10-6 too. And no practice, no nothing. You clowns are pretty.
Absolutely.
Well, what else are we going to do? Shawnee Bulldog, guy with a fucking. I'm not even going to start a roast here.
Anyway,
all right. So basically, the Patriots going to win the Super Bowl. Shawnee, get ready for that.
Pats pass to the Super Bowl, be a 1 seed. Chiefs are going to have to go to Foxborough again.
Yep.
Cool. But anyway, I think it's so funny. The schedule comes out. People are pissed that we're predicting it. It's kind of like what we're doing.
You have to. All right. What do you want to jump into some Madden talk? Or are we done with the schedule?
Let's we'll be done with the schedule because people are going to get pissed off talking about it.
So what do you got? So you got a game tonight, week 2.
Playing the Hook Mike tonight. A very lethal offensive team. Cam Newton, Larry Fitz, Christian McCaffrey. And then I can't remember. Mike drafted one other receiver who was like his true number 1. It wasn't Fitz. I don't know who he's got defensively. I'm feeling all right though. I got a game plan going upstairs. But like,
you feel
what
all
happened?
right?
I'm feeling all right. I'm feeling all right.
You're gonna beat him by 50 points.
Okay.
Because Mike just does not understand how to handle a blitz. He throws off his back foot all the time. He does like spin moves when he throws the rock. and he hears footsteps. When the bright lights hit his face, like, you're gonna win this one by 50. Like, I might see if this game is on LV Action, see if I can put some money on this one.
What happened in your? I want to get to you. What happened in your game?
What do you mean? What happened?
I mean, we were talking all this trash about how we're going to run the rock. Derrick Henry, Coach Hand and Dirt. What happened, Coach Dirt?
I don't know. I kind of browned out a little bit at the end of that game. I think.
Who's your Q?
Ben Roethlisberger.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, and you gave Deshaun Jackson really, really big pads.
Yeah, Deshaun Jackson looking good out there.
He had some he had some great plays for you.
I think there's a need for a quarterback.
What's up, Cody?
I got Tyrod Taylor back there.
T-Mobile.
I got to go out there and find a middle linebacker. I just actually took who's the Chiefs strong safety? Eric
Berry.
Eric Berry. I just moved him to free safety. Forgot he was on the bench. I'm putting him over at free safety, so we got a good little safety combination coming this next week. But the defense needs to improve here, Cam. But also, I did bail on the run there a little bit. I think I kind of felt I wanted to put my foot in the gas pedal. I wanted to change up the game plan a little bit because he was expecting me to run the rock more. Right. So I wanted to air it out a little bit through an interception.
Pulling a little fast one on him. We're going to fake the fake. We're going to throw the football now.
Yep.
How do you prepare on stopping the Redskins running game? He ran the rock for like 260 yards last game.
I don't know. I don't know if that was because maybe the other guy was bad or if that guy was good. But I'm gonna have to take control of that middle linebacker, Cam, and have to
you're gonna
have him roaming around and make some plays myself. I will trade. I don't even care about the money. I will put $100 bill on the table for whoever's got Dante Hightower.
Oh, that's the Bengals. I played him last week.
I want Dante.
Dude, the Bengals drafted very well.
They did. Very well. I was impressed by the Bengals.
I think they had the best draft.
Yeah. Dude on the right has a schnoz on him. Is that me or is that? I don't know. I think I got the big nose. I got the bigger nose.
I think he's talking about me.
Yeah. You don't got the balls to put your picture up, Scott Brennan. Or was that the guy that I was just roasting? No,
that was a different guy.
But throw a profile picture so I can roast you, Scott. You won't sleep for a week. But that's the goal. That's the key to beating Mike tonight. Is you just send a couple linebackers and he's just going to start making excuses. That's his thing.
I got a game plan dialed up. We're feeling confident, feeling good. Had a great week of practice. Gardner only threw nine passes last game, so we had to get him feeling himself and in the right position. But when it came down to it, Gardner made the throws that he needed to make, and that's what I think is most important about developing a young quarterback. So I'll be really interested to see how we go from here. We got to get Jerry Jeudy going. He had a drop in the last game, and he just didn't play up to standards. So he had, like I said, we had a great week of practice. The goal in Seattle is to go 1-0 every week. It's a new season every week, and I think that we've prepared very well. So I'm excited for this game.
Okay. So how about the Titans game this week? Like a 70, did it score 75 points or something like that?
The Titans has some demons, dude. The Titans was, I think, pissed that the Browns didn't answer DMs, and the Titans was like, I'm going to put one on them, and ended up putting 70 on them.
Okay. How about any other games? Because I was out of commission yesterday.
Yeah, you were. I'm still interested to see, hear the details of how that happened. We went from just I'm overseeing the draft, and then I texted Eric the next morning, and he's like, I'm probably dead right now.
I was dead all yesterday. So I did overdrink a little bit that night because I was up so late, had a pair all day. I don't know if my body was just telling me to put more stuff in my body.
Probably.
Probably. And then I went upstairs, and there were some steaks that had been in the fridge for a while. I cooked those up at 1 a.m, ate both of them. And I had the shakes this morning, so I don't know if
by a while. What do you mean?
I don't remember exactly when I put them in the fridge. They had been chilling there for probably around a week. I don't know if that's a long time for steaks.
I don't think that's too long.
Maybe a little bit longer. But
I'm thinking 2-3 because that's kind of when we draw the line.
No, I was probably maybe a week and a half. But I was still shaking this morning, so I don't know if it was food poisoning. My forearms were shaking.
Were they really?
Means. Yeah,
I don't know what that means. I don't medically know what that means.
I'm not a doctor, but let's get the games going. So you playing Mike in right away?
I'm playing Mike. I'm gonna probably play Mike right after this.
Okay.
Scott Brennan.
He's upset. Titans. All right.
Onside after scoring 70. Jesus.
Scott, watch the stream and I'll announce it for you, sweetheart. Put up a profile picture, you soft ass bitch, too.
Oh man, I really hope that you know Scott.
No, I don't. I've had so many people that DM me and stuff, and they have troll accounts and they never put up a picture, and that's just a troll account. Usually don't respond to them.
Probably not.
But yeah,
probably shouldn't.
Scott Brennan, I'm gonna go and look up your IP address and then expose you. Just kidding. Maybe. All right.
Are we ready to get into games? Yeah, I think so.
Ready to rumble? All right. You twitching?
Right. Hey, everybody who came in, we appreciate you. Even if you weren't the kindest, that's okay. We don't care about that. We're just happy to have you here. So with all that being said, guys, we'll see you next time.
Be sure to like and subscribe, Scott.
Please,
be sure to like and subscribe. All right. Maybe should I announce your game?
If you want. I'm debating on whether or not I should stream it or if Mike should stream it.
Do you put your face in the stream?
I'll put my face on it. Then should I do it?
That.
Okay.
I don't even know if I can talk tonight. I'm struggling today. All right.
End this.
See you, everybody. Yeah.